Hey guys, my name is Christopher. I'm a real estate developer here in beautiful Medellin, Colombia. My company is Alvarez Pereira, and you can find my information in the link. But I wanted to go out and showcase some different areas of the city. And a lot of people are coming here looking for investment opportunities. And one of the biggest right now has been Airbnb or hotels, and also people are buying properties pre-construction. And I wanted to show you some of the areas of the city that are highly desirable, but more importantly, I wanted to show you where the real investment opportunities are. They're not an Airbnb, they're not investing into hotels. It's actually buying the actual land and developing your own property. So follow me and let me show you. So look at this beautiful tree-lined street in Envigado, not too far from the main park. This is a really safe area, very popular. Look at this beautiful new construction. So this property here, a couple weeks ago, it was on sale for about 1.38 billion. And then I talked to a couple other people and I found out that they were willing to take 1.2 billion. I'm sure they were probably willing to take maybe even 950. That being said, it actually sold in 4 days. That's because it's in a highly desirable area. There's an area of Envigado called La Buena Mesa. There's also another area on the opposite side of the park that a lot of people aren't too aware of, and that's where I'm at right now. And there are a lot of restaurants that are starting to pop up, and there's also a lot of construction. So this is a perfect spot to develop. So the idea is this. Let me show you. Come on. Hey guys, I wanted to interrupt and briefly explain the next 3 slides or 2 slides in a video. That's the actual information that I am able to pull from the city that explains the building permissions. So in this particular property, it's I think 225 square meters. There is 5 floors that are permissible, and there's a total of 6 apartments that can be built, and you can have a commercial space as well. And then the one video it's just really brief. My team had the opportunity to visit that property a couple weeks ago, right before it was sold, and just gives you an idea what it looks like inside. Obviously, the intent would be to tear it down, but it's always cool to see. So here's this property directly across the street from the bar and restaurant. There's actually 3 properties here. And the idea would be to buy a property like that, buy a property like one of these lots, tear it down, and build a 5-story apartment building. Here we got a couple restaurants. We got a 4 or 5-story building. So ideally, when this becomes for sale, that would be the perfect place to buy. Now, to develop a property like this takes about 6 to 8 months. And the reason you want to focus on those types of properties that are around 4 to 5 stories, maybe 4 to 6 stories, is that they're easy to get approved. Usually it takes about 2 to 3 weeks. Now, every city is different. You have the city of Envigado, you have Bello, Aranjuez, Medellin, all these different areas. And for a simple plan like that, it only takes a couple of weeks. And construction takes about 6 months, and then to demolish a property is about 2 to 3 weeks. Now let's talk about cost. Now we're over here in Envigado, not too far from the main park, and this particular area is highly desirable. So these properties are going for like around a billion pesos, which I think as of right now is somewhere around 350,000 US. Now if I walk over, let's say 5 blocks from here, you can find a property for 600,000. Okay, so it really depends on where you're at. That being said, this is prime location of Envigado. So there's both some pros and cons there, and I'll talk more about that when I get home when it's a little bit more quiet. So when you're buying a property, what you want to get, or the information you want to obtain from the city, is what are the building permits, or what are the building rights. In other words, you can have two properties that are side by side, and one might have a permission for 3 floors, whereas another one might have a permission for 6 floors. And different cities throughout the Tokyo area have different permissions. In fact, Envigado, they've actually been reducing, or rather further limiting construction on certain heights. So some of these areas, you buy a property and the heights have been grandfathered in, which is really good. Let me give you a quick example. So this property obviously is an older property, being that it's 1 story, but it has a huge lot. Look how far back it goes, okay? And look how wide it is. So I wouldn't be surprised when that comes up on for sale. That would probably sell in just a couple of days. But ideally, you would buy something like this and build something like this. Now in this case, we have 6 stories plus a parking garage. Here's more new construction. You can see how far back this goes. There's a huge lot. That's giving a lot of value to this property. Beautiful tree-lined street, family neighborhood. Now I just walked about 4 minutes. That restaurant and the property I showed you is just back there. And let me turn the camera around, you can see where I'm at now. So I'm just down the street, about 4 minutes walk from where we started. There in the distance, you can actually see the church, and I'll walk over there in just a moment. The church is about, I think 2 blocks away. And I'm in front of Euro shopping store. I'm not sure if this is a school or a community center. They've been doing construction, and it looks like they're just about complete, but so here I am at Envigado Park. Looks like there was an event earlier today. Of course, no video would be complete without me stopping at a nearby restaurant and talking about how good it is, at least hopefully. Okay guys, so I just got home a little bit ago and I want to recap what I showed you today. I took you to an area called El Dorado that's just south of Envigado Park, and it's in a family area. It's a nice area, some expensive homes in the area. There's a lot of construction on this one particular street that I took you. It's a main thoroughfare between the main park and the stadium in Envigado. So there's a lot of foot traffic. There's a lot of mom and pop restaurants that have been popping up. And obviously there's a lot of new construction. So on this particular street and some of the subsequent streets nearby also, a lot of those older properties, when they go on the market, they sell fast because people want to build in that area because they want to capitalize off of the traffic that's going through there. There's an area in Envigado called La Buena Mesa. If you look at where that market was, let's say 15 years ago, it was just a small little area. But if you go there today, the rental rates over there are around $2,400 a month. And that's a high demand area. It's been developed. It's a beautiful area. And tourists are beginning to learn about that. This area of Envigado, El Dorado, that's going to be the next up and coming area I'm predicting. So let me show you some of these numbers here. Now remind you, this is a premium location, so naturally you're going to pay you're going to pay a premium. So let me show you what the market looks like in this particular area. All right, folks, so let's go over these costs. That land that I showed you today, that property, it's in a premium location, so you could expect to pay approximately 1.2 billion pesos. Now, the cost to construct, remember I showed you the permissions, and there's 5 floors with a permission of 6 apartments. You could construct 6 apartments there. It would cost you approximately 964 million pesos. Now, more than likely, you are probably not from around here. You don't have any relationships. And let's be honest, time is money. So you're gonna need to hire a developer to manage this. So let's just say you add a 10% developer fee in there. Okay, so that's 200 million. So all in, your land costs, your construction cost, your developer fee, you're looking right around 2.3 billion pesos, which is approximately 575,000 US dollars. Now, let's say we mark up the property 40%, okay, to establish how much we're going to sell each individual apartment. So we're going to sell the apartments right around 555 million pesos. Now, it's important to understand that the average in this area of the city is 760 million. So obviously there's a huge delta between 760 and 555. But as an investor, you want to make money, but you want to get in, you want to get out. So I think it's better to be on the conservative side here at 555 and not try to go for the moon at 760. But keep this in mind. So the estimated profit per unit is right around 158 million. So a total estimated completed investor profit approximately 230,000 US. Okay. Your return on investment in terms of percentage, you're looking at 44%, and you're looking at a timeline from when you acquire the property to when you get that first sale, approximately 6 to 8 months. All-in cost, 575. Total profit, 230. Timeline, 6 to 8 months. ROI, 44%. Pretty good, wouldn't you say? So I want to briefly give you some insight, if you're coming from the United States, how to, kind of compare these numbers. In the US, if we're looking at rental properties, a good rental yield would be right around 5%. A great rental yield would be around 8%. And an excellent yield, which is would be right around 10%. In Medellin, you should be averaging right around 10%. In fact, Medellin is the second city in the world with the highest rental yields. And in some areas of Medellin, let's say for example in Provenza, the tourist area where all the bars and restaurants and nightclubs are, you can actually get a 15% rental yield. Now keep in mind, this is for properties where they're paying their appropriate taxes, their administration fees and such. Something else to consider is that not every property, actually only about 5% of buildings actually allow Airbnb. Most of these properties require at least a 30-day stay or longer. And so, if you purchase a property with the intent of doing Airbnb, you can expect to get around 10%, or you should be getting around 10%. Now, if you purchase a property and it does not allow Airbnb, then you should be expecting, if you furnish it and you rent it on a monthly basis, right around 8%. Now, something to keep in mind with this business model is that you could buy the land, develop the property, In this case, we have 6 apartments. Sell 5 of the apartments. Keep the top apartment and use that apartment as an Airbnb or rent it on a monthly basis or as a place for you to stay when you visit. And then the rest of the time you have a property management company to handle the renting. And in a situation like that, when you sell those 5 apartments, you get back your capital, you get back a little bit of a profit, and you own that Airbnb free and clear. And the reason that I point this out is in the other situations where you're buying pre-construction or you're buying an older property, you're sitting on dead money. So you just spent $600 million on a property and you're getting maybe $2,000 a month in rent, which is fabulous, but you're still sitting on capital that you can't touch until you sell that property. It's not like in the United States where you can buy an investment property, refinance it, pull that money out, and then take that money and invest it into a second property. That doesn't exist here. So 44% is a hell of a return, much better than 15% or even 8% sitting on dead capital. Think about it.